today, as Justin talked about, we're going to be very focused on what we're covering. We're going to spend time on the exciting focus that we have on driving a Nasdaq listing by the end of this year. The time is really right now as a company, and I'm going to talk you through this. Never has there been the right time for us. We've earned our stripes to go and have access to the larger capital markets. We'll go deep into 2023 performance, and we'll touch on some of the key priorities in Q2. And then, I thought it'd be nice to give you a little peek into our new campus for our CDMO services business, which, since we launched literally, Zaki, 8-9 weeks ago at Bio, we're having the time of our life with the deal flow that we're seeing. And this facility as well will be covering and enabling us to build the 50-ton production facility. So we'll kind of give you a sneak peek, a little tour by me, so you can understand this amazing asset that we've now brought in underneath the BioHarvest Sciences banner. And then we'll go to a Q&A. I'm sure you have many questions, and Zaki and I will work together on the Q&A. Okay, Justin, are we ready to rock and roll? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll move quickly, through forward-looking statements. Okay, I first want to start on the vision and mission of the company. And I think it's important because, we're at a critical juncture in the growth trajectory of the company. And we really found the sweet spot positioning of the company and what our core mission is. And that is really embracing 17 years of work and nearly $100 million of investment in our technology today, which we call botanical synthesis technology process, which has reached a level of maturity and scaling and ability to really cover so many opportunities that avails to us from 500,000 plants in the plant kingdom. And we really have pioneered this unique movement of change that we're driving in the world, whereby our technology has the ability to really drive significant disruption, but also be a massive game changer for companies operating from verticals like pharmaceuticals all the way through to cosmeceuticals, nutraceuticals, and in fact, the broader food chain and nutrition chain. What's really come to Zaki and my, understanding more than ever since we announced to the world at Bio that we were opening our botanical synthesis technology process to broader industries in order to have the impact of our technology to millions of people. We really understand, and I think we're starting to understand the magnitude of opportunity that companies are providing us to partner with them in turning thousands of plants into predictable and reliable sources of new therapeutic molecules. Because we're seeing, without actually putting any major pushes on business development, word has got around very quickly in the industry about this company called BioHarvest Sciences with our unique technology process called botanical synthesis and what it can do. And we're starting to get really some very, very interesting phone calls from companies around, in many cases, use cases that we hadn't considered, and in some cases, use cases that we had considered. And we're really kind of getting to appreciate and understand. We always knew the opportunity was there because we were living that opportunity in our products business. But over the last 7-8 weeks, we started to field some really amazing opportunities and dialogues, in some cases with titans of industry, in other cases with really entrepreneurial players that want to disrupt industries. But everybody's really understands the critical necessity to be able to access molecules from plants in a way which is predictable, reliable, has economic viability, and of course, in the case of our technology as well, has protection from a patentability perspective. So, you know, it's part of this has been like the maturity of the company, understanding what we have, the asset that we have in our hand as it relates to our technology, and how we purpose that asset across our products business unit and across, obviously, the new CDMO services business unit. Whilst we have this amazing asset in our hands, that what's critical for us is to really sweat that asset like crazy. And as I said earlier, now is the time to be going to capital markets like Nasdaq to be able to sweat that asset. What's critical is you need to be going to these markets with momentum. And we've worked unbelievably hard as a leadership team to build momentum over the last, not 12 months, but really 24 months. And I'm going to show you that momentum when you start to understand the performance of the company from a top line perspective and margins perspective. And we've continued to build demand momentum across our business and consistent, improved financial performance. Let's try and understand that momentum. 2023 for us was another major year for BioHarvest, a year of scaling. You can see 2021, 2.1 million, pretty, more than doubled, 5.5 in 2023, and then the big lift to just under 13 million, $12.7 million. And we did that all with one SKU. It's important to understand, one SKU. Coffee only came right at the end of 2023. And, when you start to dimensionalize that, it was a significant achievement. Show me one other company, direct to consumer, that's able to generate these kind of revenues with one SKU. And we've just tipped our toes into the water as far as accessing what we believe is the demand out there. And when you look at it on a quarter-on-quarter basis, every single quarter, despite a number of different headwinds, we've been operating as if we've had massive tailwinds behind us. And you can see the consecutive large double-digit growth that we've been driving throughout each quarter in 2023. And yes, we sit here, May the 2nd, 2024, we see that Q1 is another strong quarter of momentum. We've given a revenue forecast of 5.2 to 5.3 million in revenue. And we've called also a continued growth forecast for second quarter of 5.7 to $6 million US. And as we're doing this, we're also making sure that we're continuing to drive improved financial performance with our core metric focusing on gross profit margins, where literally every quarter you're seeing us grow significantly by literally 4 to 6 percentage margin points, quarter on quarter on quarter. And with a path to get to north of 60% by the end of this year, and really landing the company in the second half, and we're working now on that timing, and the third quarter, fourth quarter, started to get into that EBITDA profitability zone, which is so important for us. And this critical momentum also earns us the right to be able to go to an exchange like Nasdaq with predictability on revenue and strong financial metrics across the business, which are showing continuous improvements. When it comes to consumer ratings, consumer is king. We continue to really step change our ratings. We're nearly at 5,000 ratings right now. If you add Amazon, we're at 5,500 ratings and at 4.8 out of 5, just demonstrating the strength of the technology that underpins the VINIA brand and the molecules that we can produce. So when you look at this and you step back, you really realize that we're at a very important point in our growth journey. You can see that we've reached a level of maturity that enables management to guide the business with a high degree of predictability across key financial metrics. This is really, really important. And there's so much that we've done to get our arms around the business and to be able to really fine-tune all the critical metrics. Our product business unit is growing rapidly, and we're going to require expansion of manufacturing capacity as we move from 20 tons to new 50-ton facility that needs to be up and running in the next 12 to 18 months. Because we're massively growing our customer base, we're growing our product lines. And, you know, today we're really existing in Israel and the US, and we're ready to start pushing as we start to look in the horizon to go into other geographies as well. So we're going to need to get that critical expansion of manufacturing capacity. The CDMO services business, as I said earlier, we're engaging with major global customers, as well as a lot of disruptive innovators across these verticals, deep multi-billion-dollar verticals of pharmaceuticals, cosmeceuticals, nutraceuticals, and then, you know, call it the food, nutrition, ingredients world. These key players are also requiring greater transparency as they look to partner with us strategically to help build their molecule pipelines and to be an important manufacturing partner for them, because we're not just developing their molecules, but we're also going to be producing their molecules as the M in the CDMO. And these are deep, deep relationships that we're starting to have discussions with, which require significant transparency, the long-term deep relationships. And we're realizing this more and more as we start to engage with senior leadership in these companies who are really looking to take advantage of the abilities of our technology process, our botanical synthesis technology process, to really solve all the barriers, all those barriers that were stopping them accessing molecules from plants before. So when you step back and you look, now is the right time. We've earned our stripes. You know, we've waited. We've kept our heads below the radar. Execution, 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 execution. But we've got to the point now that we have to expand visibility of our company to a much wider audience on major capital markets. And really, the only major capital markets that make sense for us now at this juncture, in addition to our Canadian listing, is Nasdaq. And when you understand why Nasdaq, it gives us not just access to the largest capital markets in the world, but we need that solid platform to be able to bring in US-based institutional investors. I'm going to talk about this more in a few charts from my trip in the US. I spent literally 3 weeks in the US over 2 trips, and the opportunity that a company and I, as we have, and the story that we have, and the execution, the ability to execute an operationalized strategy based on a very clear vision that has such significant impact scale in the world. For an institutional investor, we've seen it's significant, but we have to be where the institutional investors play. We need to also make sure we're bringing more eyeballs to focus and understand what a gem of a company we all have as shareholder partners in our hand that we've been nurturing so carefully in the last 4 years as we've brought our technology to the marketplace. And to do that, we need to get critical investment bank analyst coverage. The major investment banks, their analysts are not going to cover us when we're sitting on just a Canadian exchange. We got to have access to the major markets. We also need to make sure that we have increased trading volume and stock liquidity. We all understand how important that is. And as I've mentioned earlier, the importance of increased exposure of our company to customers and strategic partners, we can get that when we're sitting on a major capital market like Nasdaq. We also need to be able to provide even more transparency for strategic customers and partners. And of course, our shareholder partners can also benefit from that. And then there's obviously the ability, as you start to get bigger, there's the necessity to have the flexibility for investors to be able to do margin trades. And we are able to do this on a capital market like Nasdaq. So, this for me became so apparent. And as Zaki, who joined me together with Justin on one of the roadshows we had in the US, and it became really so clear for us that this is the right move for the company at the right time, after literally engaging with so many critical stakeholders, which are so important for the future of our company. And I had over 50 meetings, including 9 sell-side research analysts, 12 sell-side bankers, and nearly 30 buy-side investors. And this, is a little bit of a picture of my report card. I kind of gave the company as it related to these specific meetings and the learnings that we got, deep, critical learnings that we need to action. So firstly, let's start with the research analysts, because they're king. They get the blood flowing, if you think about it in the context of our world. And they're so important to be able to have eyeballs on our company, understanding the mechanics of our company, understanding the vision, understanding the financial model, and importantly, understanding the magnitude of change we can drive in the world. We had a number of fantastic meetings with several respected research analysts across really high-tier banks. And I say humbly that it was very humbling for me. This is the first time I've had this kind of engagement with research analysts. I did it, when I was back in my Coke days, when the company used to bring the analysts into tours across the different geographies that I was working in. But this really was a much deeper engagement with the analysts. And it was really humbling to see how our story resonated so well with multiple senior banking analysts. And they've been very clear, overtly clear to us of their desire to initiate coverage, but it needs to be following a listing on Nasdaq. When we look at sell-side bankers, again, 12 meetings, learned a lot about the banking world, and we've nurtured a number of high-tier relationships with investment banks, which many of them are some of the bigger guys that, given also the market, they're engaging now with companies our size and of our market cap. And I'm really confident that we're going to land a really great banking partner for our uplisting, a banking partner with the kind of reputation that we want to have to hold our hand as we make such a move from a listing perspective. When it comes to the buy-side investors, you see I have just one smiley face, not 2 smiley faces. And whilst investors really were captivated by our technology and really understood the magnitude of change we can drive in the world, and one thing which was really interesting is that they were surprised, the kind of comments were like, where have you guys been? And it's it's really strange to see a company, that's executed and has such high revenue, and we haven't seen you guys. Where have you been? And my answer to them was really, look, we've just put our heads down. As many of you know, this was our first roadshow, my first roadshow in 4 years as CEO of the business. And they were like, for us, it really boded very well that here was a company that was coming to talk to buy-side investors, as well as the bankers and the research analysts, with nearly $13 million of revenue just in one SKU, validating the power of the technology process, on the CDMO services business already had 2 contracts under its belt. And this is when we were coming to talk about our company and what our company represents from an opportunity perspective for them. And that, I think, really boded well as it brought credibility to the company and our leadership. But what became very apparent to me, that for a large majority of these people, the lack of a major US listing precluded many of these investors from taking a position in the company because of their respective fund charters. They were apologetic. We'd love to, but we can't because our fund charters don't allow us to do this. And we'll have to wait for you, or watch you closely, and we'll have to wait for you to get onto an additional listing on a market like Nasdaq. So when you step back and you look, you realize that now is the time. We've earned our stripes. We're coming to the market with a level of maturity. We have really good banking partners that we believe will bring us to the marketplace. We know we have confidence of research analysts that are going to support us to get there, because they've clearly expressed that once we get there, they will cover us. And, we have the predictability now on revenue. We're getting better and better on the margin and the bottom line side. And we've kind of reached a level of maturity that it makes sense for us to be able to leverage all the benefits for the company, for all of you as shareholder partners, to access major capital markets like the Nasdaq. So we're working feverishly on driving the process. It's a major priority for every one of us that we're working on every single day. Our SEC filings are underway. As you know, we have the AGM meeting set for the 27th of May to approve the share consolidation and an additional director. And this is all necessary to comply with Nasdaq uplisting rules. As I said, we're well positioned for leading investment banking partner and analyst coverage pending our future listing. And we're going to continue now, between now and when, we're going to land the listing. And we've said we've given ourselves until the end of 2024. And obviously, the sooner, the better for us. There's a number of different routes we're working through to be able to get that listing. Some routes are faster than others. And we've given ourselves with the strategy on the share split, reverse share split, to have a lot of flexibility in this space. And we'll continue to engage family offices, institutions with the listing momentum, preparing them, priming them to be able to engage once we list. And this is going to be obviously a major milestone for the company that's going to allow us to really reap the benefits of just a lot of hard yards that we've driven as it relates to scaling our technology, building a best-in-class e-commerce direct-to-consumer machine, being able to scale our technology as we digitize biology in our R&D labs all the way through to the manufacturing floor. And now, obviously, starting to palletize starting to taste the true upside, also in opening up our technology to partner with major industry leaders. It's super, super exciting. I just feel, honestly, so privileged to be in this chair. It's not easy because we're all working like crazy. I'm driving Zaki crazy with the hours that we're working, but we don't feel it because we want it. Our management team are so hungry for this. It's all about continuing to execute with the momentum that we have and really start to reap the benefits for you, our shareholder partners, and for the company as we move to a larger capital market like Nasdaq. So I'm sure you all may have other questions. We'll cover that in the Q&A. I'm going to talk now just a little bit about 2023 performance and Q2 priorities. How am I doing, Justin? Okay?
Oh, you're doing good. Yes, we have some questions. We'll get them in the Q&A. You're doing great.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay. So you all understand my growth model. This is, you don't see, I'm very consistent. This is how we look at the business. We use this every time we have our updates. It's a great navigation tool to understand how a company needs to focus and prioritize their different activities to create value for the company and its shareholder partners like you. So let's first look at the revenue management side, looking at marketing optimization. Wow. Jared and the team, they did an amazing job. If you look at the fact that we literally increased our subscriber base by 120%, but we only increased our marketing by 48%. This really drives massive efficiency in the marketing. And it was a big achievement. We've got a great team. The marketing team is tight. We have literally a core team with AJ, with John, with Eves, with Yael, underneath Jared. It's like the big five, as they call it, from where I was born in South Africa. The big five. 5 people driving this marketing machine. So from that perspective, it's also super efficient. And we're driving efficiency in every single activity as we really look to become real technical experts in every area of driving direct-to-consumer e-commerce marketing. We're continuing to expand and broaden our audience, and we're doing it very, very surgically and efficiently. We're going after new terrestrial channels. These are major channels: Hallmark Drama, Family Movie Channel. These are channels that we have the ability every single day to look at ROI. I spent $100. How much did I get in return based on people viewing our TV ads, our ads, and then moving straight to purchase the product? We understand the relationship between what we spend and the revenue we generate. And we're continuously optimizing our mix as it relates to new terrestrial channels, going after major digital TV ecosystems like Fire TV from Amazon, Roku channel, Samsung TV. This is all very, very surgical. The world of TV today is much more efficient because we have data to help us understand how to optimize all the time. And this is a core capability of our team. In addition, we literally have still so much opportunity in accessing the 80 million plus Christian evangelical marketplace, where we also have amazing product market fit as it relates to the benefits of our product, the connection to our brand on so many levels. And tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and then again a rerun at 11 p.m. Eastern time, we will be featured for 57 minutes with this amazing lady, Sheila, who really brought out the best in me and the best in some of our doctors who appear on the show, as well as consumers, as part of a full 57 minutes of the praise segment. So any of you, if you don't have TBN on your TV channels, go in, download the app, just sign up. It doesn't cost anything, and you can literally watch it live, or you can watch it later on demand. But this is really an amazingly produced show, and John and AJ just did a fantastic job with amazing production levels together with the team from TBN. Now, anybody who watches it, please shoot me an email. Let me know some feedback. It's always great to get feedback. Also, in a few weeks' time, I'll be back in the US, early June. We have another segment with the governor, with Governor Huckabee. This time, we're actually using the segment to launch a very exciting program that we're super excited about. And that's related to how we partner with first responders. And we know in America, like in most countries, how the role of first responders is just so valued by the population and the communities. And we started to get, reviews that came across my desk from, nurses, from doctors in ER rooms, from fire people, from ambulance staff, from the military, just talking about how Vinia just helps them so much in doing what they got to do and the challenges that they have in these really, really challenging community roles. And we wanted to kind of lean in and help these people, as well as get VINIA to as many first responders out there in the US. And we'll look to do a similar program here locally in Israel. And so we're going to be giving a 20% discount to all first responders. We have a way to be able to validate that and verify this. And we have a whole program that we're rolling out. We're going to be rolling this out on the Huckabee Show. And it's really, really fitting because Governor Huckabee's father himself was a very serious member of their local community as a chief firefighter. And so this real program resonated very much with Governor Huckabee, and we're looking forward to bringing this to the show in early June. Okay, let's now talk about channel scaling. As we know, Amazon for us is a major priority. Look at these numbers. I'm super proud of these numbers. Again, we're just getting started. Look at 2022 versus 2023. You can see we 7x'd the number of units. We 8.5x'd the revenue. We've now got serious number of subscribers coming through Amazon versus just people coming in and out on buying the product. And basically we're continuing to drive significant momentum in our Amazon's business. We have now just under 750 ratings with a really good scores. A lot of people have been asking me questions to understand where are we in our product scaling. And so I wanted to kind of give a little bit of an update on how we've been doing on coffee, as well as our hot beverage strategy and the priorities for the balance of the year. Okay, so just again, reminding people of our strategy, our VINIA Inside strategy. And that's all about the fact that we're going into categories. We're looking to disrupt categories based on our strategy of superior science with our technology process, superior taste, superior efficacy based on everything that we do in this company as it relates to what goes out there and our claims. We're anchoring them in science and clinical trials. So this is our formula around how we're driving disruption across these key major delivery mechanisms for the US consumer: superior science, superior taste, and superior efficacy. So I want to focus today on what we're doing in the functional coffee and tea markets, where we're going after superior energy and alertness. Collectively in the US, it's at least a $5 billion market size. And then we'll talk a little bit about hydration. So how is our coffee doing? I saw somebody ask a question. I can't remember if it was on one of the channels, but you know, I went in, I looked at the numbers. Look, it's amazing. We've done nearly $500,000 of coffee, 2 SKUs, right? Decaf regular, round about now with Amazon, it's about $450,000 since we started selling coffee 15th of December. Wow. We have amazing product market fit here, and we're building what I believe can be another significant layer on top of our capsule business as it relates to when you look at the product market fit. We have 4.9 stars, 48 reviews. People love the taste of the product, and they're getting the functionality. A combination of the functionality of VINIA combined with coffee as a delivery mechanism really has hit the sweet spot for consumers. And you can see here with the kind of reviews that we're getting, now we're starting to scale this. We're starting to scale it on Amazon, putting in more stock, putting in more advertising, and we're starting to scale this. You'll see on the Praise Show tonight, there's a full 10-minute segment talking about coffee. And we'll continue to do more and more coffee integrations across a lot of the communication that we're doing. What do you think, Justin? Nearly $500,000. Not bad, huh? I think it's important to understand that this is just direct to consumer, right? Even if you looked at this like with retail, it's a lot of money. This is just direct to consumer. Okay, so it just really just demonstrates that we have something really good. We worked really hard on the formulation and on combining VINIA together with coffee. together with our partners and McKinsey. If you're listening out there, you're a legend because you did the amazing formulation work. Together with Chris, we operationalized this, and we have something special in our hands that we're going to nurture. We're going to double down on. And we're doubling down. This is the Amazon 4.6 out of 5, 28 ratings. So we're starting to build our ratings there, which really helps us pushing our coffee on Amazon. So what's next? Basically, we're looking to get our Nespresso compatible version. This is really important. Now, clearly our coffee is premium priced. We're like, $1.60 to $2, depending on what package. And we still sold nearly $500,000 so far of coffee. So it just shows you that price points, they are important, but when price points are supported with value, and specifically with functional wellness, you can command these kind of premiums in the marketplace. Traditionally, K-Cup if you look at K-Cup machines, they're a cheaper machine. And probably if you look at the distribution of these machines, it's in a probably middle to lower income group. And Nespresso, just given this much higher pricing, the machines are more expensive, more premium. Probably for us, our ability to penetrate that market from an affordability and from a value proposition will be even higher. So it's very important that we get our coffee out in Nespresso compatible machines. And we're in final stages on formulation development. We'll go into a round of testing, and then we'll, all being well, we're using similar blend to what we have in K-Cup. The overall taste profile is the same, and we're cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to get this out, and make this a Q3 launch. Where we've also done a lot of work is on teas. Functional tea, just functional tea in the US is $3.5 billion. And we're going to access this market with K-Cup as well as with tea bags. Okay. So I actually have here, we've been working with a great company on the East Coast, and we've done a lot of product development work, and we figured out how to get VINIA inside a tea bag. So you can see it'll come in a, basically, obviously the branding will be on this in the future, but these are just samples. It'll come in a bag like this, sealed with, hydrogen to keep everything, with nitrogen to keep everything fresh. And basically we've developed with them the right kind of tea bag to make sure that it's able to hold our VINIA, and we're able to get the actual VINIA, once it's absorbed into the water, to go into the product with the right levels of recovery. And I've got here an example of a green tea product. We have a black tea, English breakfast black tea. And then we have, of course, a really nice berry tea. And these are all products that contain VINIA. So it's really good. In addition to having VINIA and tea in K-Cups, we're going to be accessing the tea bag market. And for many of you shareholder partners out there, I'm sure that you're tea drinkers, and this becomes, again, another really good delivery mechanism. And in each stage, we're margining up. This is premiumization. We're improving our margins, and that's critical for all of us as we look to bring more value into the business. What do you think, Justin? You with me?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to deal with
Lots of
helping people with questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the hydration bet. And as many of you know, this is a market that I really know. I understand. I lived it for 18 years of my life. And I'm looking forward so much to coming back into it. So again, we've had a lot of questions on where are we at that. So look, we've done thousands of hours of R&D, and we have now final product propositions. I'm going to show you a few things in a sec. And basically, the strategy here is going after the Gatorades, going after literally the liquid IVs. There we go. I've got some liquid IV. You can see the liquid IV sachet. It actually is pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy because it's got 68% of sugar inside. And you can see that's reflected in the calories. And then you have LMNT, which is very heavy on the sodium side. So we want to like perch ourselves from a positioning perspective, nicely in the middle, basically with the right level of calories where consumers, they'll be willing to have the balance and trade-off between calories and taste. And then what's critical for us is, the formulation. And we've worked really hard on this formula. It hasn't been easy. In addition to having the equivalent of, 400 milligrams of VINIA in the product, we have a proprietary electrolyte system. The electrolyte system has 600 milligrams of sodium, sea salt from pristine Irish waters, 200 milligrams of potassium, which is actually real coconut water powder. And then we have 85 milligrams of micronized magnesium. And as you know, when the micronized magnesium reacts with water, it creates hydrogen. And that for us is the big bet as we bring the power of hydrogen, which there's many clinical trials around hydrogen being an amazing antioxidant that reduces basic oxidative stress in your muscles, helping to drive performance and recovery. So the combination of blood flow and all the benefits of blood flow plus hydration coming together is the big bet that we're making as it relates to the clinical trial we're going to be shortly going into to really drive a transformational product with unique differentiation, functional-based differentiation for athletes. NSF certified is where we're going on this. We're going after, obviously with this, we'll go after Major League Soccer, NFL, NBA. It's hardcore athletes, and then with the trickle-down effect into the rest of the population. But to do that, you have to do that with credibility. Credibility comes from clinical trials. That credibility comes from amazing plant-based molecules combined with a unique electrolyte system that we're bringing together. So what's next for us is in 2 weeks' time, we're going to LA to do a quantitative consumer taste test, because I don't want to go into the clinical trial with a product that doesn't taste amazing. So I want to show you here. I have some of the product. Okay, it's here in my sachet. This is my sachet, my materials. This is liquid IVs. My sachet is much lighter than this one for obvious reasons. Okay, I'm just gonna pour some in the water, shake it. So I want you to see the color. We have multiple flavors in the test. We're going in with grape, and we're going in with a lemon lime, but we've got a number of different flavors. Smells good. So you can see, I want you to see the reaction with the hydrogen. So now I'm going to shake it. You can see. Give it a good shake. I feel like I'm one of those like morning breakfast shows, Come on, Justin. Good to get a smile out of you. Too serious tonight. Okay, you can see here, where's the camera? You see the buildup? This is the buildup of hydrogen. You actually see the reaction. You can see actually the hydrogen building. Can you see that? Can you see the hydrogen moving up? See that? Look at that. So you see the chemical reaction right in front of your eyes. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, super exciting. And now I'm just going to open. You can see I'm opening it. And here you go. All right, look at that. Okay. Pouring it in. This is the lemon lime. For me, we modeled it on Gatorade's lemon lime, which is, I think, a great tasting product. And I think we've really got the right balance of sourness in it. It's really good. And it's very gulpable. For athletes, it's got to be easy to drink. It's got to be very, very smooth. See here's the hydrogen. Okay. Okay, so where are we on the clinical trial? Okay, clinical trials don't just happen like this. There's a number of regulatory processes you need to go through. We have an investigational review board. So before you go into a clinical trial, there's a board of doctors, physicians, scientists that evaluate the clinical trial. They have to understand all the nature of the product and what you're providing, in our case, the athletes. And basically, we have this big milestone, May 23, where our clinical trial will be presented to the investigational review board at the University of Agder, which is in Norway. And the reason why we're doing it at this university is that our researcher, who's a PhD doctor as well, has enormous experience in hydrogen. And we wanted to make sure that we leverage this experience because we're looking to really measure the benefits of hydrogen and VINIA together as it relates to performance and recovery. And you can see on the left-hand side, all the key endpoints that we're looking at. There's many more, but if this is successful, and we're cautiously optimistic that it's going to be successful from everything that we understand today, the kind of structure function claims according to FDA guidelines that we'll be able to make are significant. Or I really feel game changer claims that we'd be able to make that would be very persuasive for consumers to come into this product. So, there's a lot of work. We're trying to work very, very meticulously, step by step, because it's about doing it right. We have plenty to execute. It's important for you to understand when you look at our growth model, I'm betting that our growth model is all coming from capsules. Yes, the coffee adds a nice layer, the tea's going to add a nice layer, but literally 90% of the growth needs to come from capsules. And we're generating that growth right now as we look at the performance of the company. You always have to have a very, very strong core, and we're growing the core. And then we build layers. We build layers on that core. And as you can see, we've got a lot to execute right now as it relates to continuing to scale coffee, bringing in the Nespresso compatible version, and then bringing in K-Cup tea, line of teas, plus tea bags, premium tea bags, functional tea bags into the marketplace. And so we're working through the clinical trial, and we will look to bring this to market as soon as possible, but we've got to work methodically through the gates. Okay, I want to just quickly touch on olives. Olives is also at the forefront of the work that the team is doing. We haven't released the final levels of verbascoside, but we have super high levels of verbascoside. Verbascoside is the most potent anti-inflammatory polyphenol from the olive. And for sure, we have the highest levels of verbascoside in the world. And this is going to be critical for us as we go after opportunities with liver health, joint health, and cholesterol health. We're focused now on regulation. We have to basically work through regulatory approval for this molecule. This is part of the normal process. And we got to go through the overall clinical trial process. We start with basically in vitro work. We're about to commence some in vitro work right now with cells, and then basically moving into animal models and then human models. But it is a major bet for us in 2025, on top of obviously continuing to scale all the products that I've shared with you right now, in addition to the creams work that we're making great progress on as well. And I'll have more information on that in the next update that we do, probably 6 to 8 weeks time. Okay, so that kind of covers off everything as it relates to going deeper into performance, but also giving you all our shareholder partners clear visibility of the pipeline. It's really exciting. Again, we're doing this in a very disciplined way, very methodical way. Nothing gets out the gates without being tested. We've got to make sure we're living and breathing the strategy of superior science, superior taste, and superior efficacy. Hopefully, if I meet any of you in the street and I ask you what's our strategy, you'll be able to play back superior science, superior efficacy, superior taste. Right, Justin?
Absolutely.
All right. So very quickly on manufacturing scaling, we increased our bioreactors by 22%, and that's now Q1. All of our bioreactors have increased by 22%. But it's like those steak knife commercials. We're not stopping there, okay? And basically, we're working really hard, and we have now done the full R&D validation on our next version, which we call version 3.0, where we increased it another 35% on top of the first increase. And this, now we're gearing up as it relates to all the equipment required, the changes that need to be made. And in third quarter, we will start to roll this out on the manufacturing capacity, again, helping us deliver on improved margin performance. This is a big part of improving margin performance, because the incremental cost is minimal, but we gain so much improvement in yields. And also, I don't need more people. It's the same number of people. So there's a lot of productivity improvements. All right. So let's now take a little time. I've got a 5-minute video that I shot. It's a little bit rough, so I apologize. But I think it's, I didn't want to come and just show you pictures. Many people have asked us questions. So I thought, let me just kind of do like a mini documentary, if you can call it, on what our new facility looks like. So this is the front of the building. Okay. It's a pretty big site. As we look at 80,000 square feet all in. I'm going to share with you now a video of what it looks like inside. Just make sure I've got the sound up. Yeah. Okay. Here we are at the entrance of our new campus facility. Come and enjoy a quick tour with me. Here we are entering into our 12 clean rooms. We have 12 state-of-the-art clean rooms with all the required technology to be able to do all of our plant tissue culture work related to how we take the actual plants and start to work our magic with their cells. So here you can see a long corridor with multiple clean rooms. I'm now showing you through the window of one of the clean rooms. Each of the clean rooms are double rooms. Okay, so here we go, clean room and another clean room. You can see just the beautiful state of these clean rooms, never been used before, have all the requirements, all the filters, all the facilities that are required. Another clean room, unique temperature controls. You can see all the temperature control panels. You see windows that you can pass through materials so that you're minimizing any of the clean air leaving. And you can see here special sanitation rooms as you enter into each of the clean rooms. Just again, improving sterility. So let me now take you to where we have our fully equipped and developed laboratories for us to do a lot of our quality control work, as well as a number of experimentation work. So we walk down the passage. Here we have a really beautiful laboratory for all of our scientists to work in. You can see everything set up, all the desktops, all the cupboards, all the PowerPoints, all the connections. We will be putting our quality control laboratory with HPLC machines here for us to do all of our analysis. We'll go into this area as well. And it extends all the way through here, more space, more benchtop space for us to utilize. And this will be probably the quality control lab for the CDMO services business. Okay, now I'd like to show you our GMP warehouse, which is critical. This is where we'll be storing a lot of our important input materials, as well as our dry finished product powder before we actually mix it, and then before we ship it out to be encapsulated. So you can see in here, let's come on in. You can see, beautiful GMP, all the air conditioning systems, temperature control, everything that's required of this level of nutraceutical, or in fact pharmaceutical API, active pharmaceutical ingredients. See very high level contaminants. We have all the requirements from all air conditioning perspective. We have to manage temperature control. So here we are on the other side of the building, which is opposite to the clean rooms. This is the area that we've demarcated to actually utilize for our 50-ton facility. You can see this area on the ground floor, so we don't have any challenges with the weight load on the floor. We can put significantly higher bioreactor sizes than what we currently use today, which is going to drive optimal efficiency and yields. And we have significant space here in order to put these bioreactors. So here we are on the second floor. What you see behind me is 40,000 square feet of open space. This open space will be utilized for the drying of our cells after they've been grown downstairs in the bioreactors. In addition to the drying of our cells that will be done here, we'll also be doing the mixing of our powder before we ship it to our overseas markets, as well as we have additional space for more bioreactors, which will service our CDMO services business. Beautiful open space. Here we have behind me two brand new, till today not utilized HVAC chillers that will power all the air conditioning and aeration systems for both the actual clean rooms as well as the bioreactor rooms. Beautiful. Okay, sorry about the production quality. It's the best we could do. Oops. Okay, so, we've kind of gone through an interesting journey in the last, 60 minutes, and thank you for all of you staying with me. You've seen the performance for 2023. You've seen the amazing momentum the business has as we go into Q1 and Q2, which we are very confident we will continue to build throughout the year. You see the maturity of the company. We see the CDMO business and what the CDMO business, the opportunities that the CDMO services business provides us. You see those 12 clean rooms. Those 12 clean rooms are critical for our business. Right now, as Zaki and I sit, and Zaki leads the CDMO services business, in addition to his chairman role, we're sitting with a super interesting pipeline. Literally 15 opportunities that we're busy now working through. As I said earlier, very unique use cases. In some situations, use cases we never dreamed about, but we realized, wow, our technology can play such a critical role here for driving super growth for these companies as we really unlock the secrets of cellular plant biology with our botanical synthesis technology process. And that really allows, gives me the belief that our company, together with you, our shareholder partners, that we can target this journey to build a multi-billion-dollar biotech company, and a multi-billion-dollar biotech company that's anchored on very strong foundations as we continue to improve our financial performance to get to that EBITDA break-even point, and then really start to spin significant cash from the business to be able to fund additional scaling of the business, and over time create a really strong virtuous cycle as we bring the power of our technology to literally not just where we are today with 50,000 active customers, but really to millions, tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of consumers as we leverage the power of our technology to develop the next generation of plant-based molecules that are going to have a transformational impact on people's overall health and wellness. So
I want to add a comment, Ilan, with your permission, on the quality of the opportunities that we're facing. Honestly, quite surprising to the extent that it's even compelling for us to look into asking our customer to take a piece of the ownership. In fact, in the way we're discussing with them, in some cases they will allow us to have 10%, maybe 20%. Just the potential of those molecules when they are brought to the market after we complete the development is such magnitude that would be very compelling for us to have a partial ownership. So I just wanted to give you a picture of what we're doing.
Thank you, Zaki. It's, Zaki and I are sitting in these meetings and we're looking at this and we're going, I don't just want to produce this. I don't just want to go back and use our technology to be able to develop the molecule. I want a piece of this. not just in the royalty model, but a bigger piece of it, because some of these are really, you know, with our technology, if we're able to get the molecules that we believe we can get at the economic pricing that our maturity of our technology can get us to, they have the potential to be significant game changers. So it's super exciting space that we're in. You know, we've made some big decisions. We appreciate the tremendous support that we've got from shareholder partners. I've got a number of really nice emails. A few people have called me, thank you. People that have WhatsApped me with a lot of support for the actions that we're taking to be able to take this business that we've been nurturing and holding so carefully in the last 4 years. And now we've grown up, and it's time to really take that next step for the company to play on a bigger capital market, and hence obviously the focus to the Nasdaq. And it's super exciting when you're doing this with a company that has such strong momentum. So I want to stop now. We'll go to Q&As. I'm going to go off sharing. Okay, Justin, this is when you now take over. I know
I've been paying attention a lot.
I know how you live for this moment of ability for that beautiful radio voice to come alive and to unveil those questions.
I'll defer to the talent on the other side of the cameras here. Zaki, thank you for joining us today too. So I'm going to consolidate about 40 questions into one. And it is about Nasdaq and timing. So the recent CDMO services business launch, you're talking about upcoming profitability, you're talking about a new product pipeline. Why now? Why not wait until we have a higher valuation and are generating higher revenues before we decide to go to Nasdaq?
Zaki, why don't you take it?
Okay. Well, I mean, I think Ilan articulated very well the fundamental reasons why going on Nasdaq. And I appreciate the question of why now. It's this intersection in terms of time between what we would need to do in order to grow. I mean, it's not enough to say we're going to be profitable. It's not enough to say that we're increasing our revenue by 10%, etc. We need to grow much faster, and to enable that, we need to have access to the capital market, and we need to have this access before the end of this year in order to achieve what we have set and really leverage the power of our technology 25, 26, and beyond. We are also being asked by a lot of shareholders about liquidity. It is an important element. It is also important for many of our CDMO customers who are trying to understand who we are. So the level of transparency they're asking for behooves us to be on a major exchange because of the transparency required and the scrutiny of those exchanges. Down the road, we're also going to be able to use the currency that would be available to us in order to look at the technologies that may need to be added to our portfolio. So it's very important for us to get it done and get it done now. And I think the level of predictability of our business has reached the maturity required to be able to do that and not to falter.
Anything to add to that, Ilan?
I think Zaki did a really good job summarizing it. The only thing I would add, just because I spent so much time in front of investment bank analysts and in front of, basically the family office, people that, in the US, you talk to family offices. I remember sitting in Dallas talking to some amazing guys. They're sitting on like billions of dollars. Here in Israel, they're like tens of millions of dollars. In Dallas, it's like, oil money. And they're falling in love with the company. They're really connecting to the mission, right? Because at the end of the day, I believe everybody that's here as shareholder partners, there's two elements. One here is, yes, you want to get a great return, to build generational wealth. But two, we all want to be part of, making a fundamental impact, positive impact on the world. And so when I sit in front and I tell our story, I can see, you know, and that people say it, they want to be part of this journey. They want to get on our bus, but you know, they are prevented from doing this because of mandates. And like, honestly, I was disappointed. Like, I'm like, mandates? And they're like, look, there's nothing we can do. We have lawyers, we have mandates from our oil money, from our investors. We can't buy, you know, a company with your, you know, basic current capital structure. When you get to Nasdaq and we're watching you, and we've kept nurturing those relationships, and they know now that we're making the move to Nasdaq. So, you know, this for me is going to be critical to create liquidity and to get the analyst coverage, right? We've got to get analyst coverage on the company. It's so important to get more eyeballs. Like, you know, we have maybe 4,000 or 5,000 messianic shareholder partners, and you all are so supportive. And, you know, we've been kind of driving this bus, but we got to go from 5,000 to 500,000 people that fall in love with our company, that fall in love with and understand the magnitude of impact, transformational impact of our botanical synthesis technology process as it relates to our products business that we navigate ourselves, and then how we partner with other companies on the CDMO services business. We got to bring more people into that journey. If you look at other major companies that have changed the world, you know, they went from 5,000 people that knew about Tesla. You know, I use Tesla a lot because I read a lot about them, and Jared's in my ear all the time about Tesla. Not because I have a similar name to Elon Musk, just because Jared, who runs our products business unit, he drives a Tesla and he knows everything about Tesla. So we talk about it a lot, but they started like us, you know, 5,000 people that, you know, just fell in love with the vision, the mission, basically the fact that you're dealing with electric cars, no more gasoline, all the benefits from this. And then boom, literally got to 500,000 investors. You know, how many people hold stock of a company like that? So we got to get onto that main stage to be able to do that.
Yeah, great. And then
also
a related question.
We would have enough float, you know, even after we have executed the share consolidations. I don't think people should be worried about it. Would also have a share price that would enable people to buy on margins. There are a lot of benefits for shareholders. We did the math, and we believe the ratio that we've used was the appropriate ratio. It gives us enough buffers against things that we don't control, market fluctuations. So in order to get through what is required and comply with all those criteria to be able to achieve what we said before the end of this year.
Yeah, perfect, Zaki. That is the follow-up question. Can you give just a bit more detail on those listing requirements and the minimum price and the math behind the consolidation? Like when you say it's de-risked, I think you said specifically, like what are the requirements there?
We want to be above $5, and we want to be able to have enough shareholder equity value, and we need to trade over a certain period of time above that price. So when we looked at market conditions and potential fluctuations, you know, one of the reasons we want to move to the Nasdaq to reduce volatility, but we have to live with the current volatility for a while until we get this additional listing on the Nasdaq. So when we calculated all of that, we selected the right ratio, and the company management, I included, are doing everything possible to comply with all the rest of the criteria that Nasdaq has. So we feel confident, we feel good about the prospects, and that's why we went out and committed for you know, that listing before the end of the year.
Yeah, perfect. And then you did answer it, but in your experience, Zaki, you're comfortable with the structure, with the size of the float post consolidation? It's going to give you the
yes, absolutely.
Company.
Yes, yes. There's enough float. There's enough shareholders, and there's enough people that want to now be able to buy shares because of once we have executed on this share consolidation, even ahead of the Nasdaq, we would have the share consolidation executed when we are on the CSE. And I just want to add a comment that we're not quitting the CSE, or we're adding Nasdaq where we are. So people will be able, some people who want to continue to buy or and trade the shares on the CSE, they'll be able to continue to do so. But as Ilan said, more eyeballs, more investors, more institutional investors, and very important is the analyst coverage. And we may start with one investment bank, and probably others will be added as the market cap of the company increases in time with the performance. And we're a company that executes. We're performing. We're going to set expectations quarter by quarter. We'll execute. We move methodically. We move with the analyst coverage, and we've reached that level of maturity that behooves us to make that move.
Yeah, perfect. What is your level of confidence, both Ilan and Zaki, in attaining analyst coverage in 2024?
I feel really
think
good
that's
about
a near term.
Yeah, I feel really good about it. I've spent a lot of time with analysts, and we're a great story. They love our story. They love the fact that we have considerable revenue. They love the fact that we have contracts on the CDMO services business. They appreciate that we're a company that's kind of come to the main light, let's call it. Like I said, like the first time we did a roadshow, you've got $13 million, just under $13 million of revenue under your belt, and you've got CDMO contracts, and you've got a manufacturing facility and scale and a depth of leadership in your leadership team. Look at our leadership team. Look at the quality of people in our leadership team, and the levels of experience across every single, functional area. We're dealing with people with, north of 25 years of experience. So they're not used to seeing companies that kind of ticks the mark in all of those areas. And especially the first time, right? They're used to seeing companies are selling dreams, and all of a sudden now you've seen a company that's able to operationalize strategy, has depth, has maturity, has a very clear strategy that they're executing on. So, I think we were able to win a lot of hearts and a lot of analysis from these investment banker analysts, and we're I would say, optimistic that we will have a lot of analyst heart that are interested in the company. And you have companies, specifically when you look at the kind of analysts that we talk to, they also had really good experience in technology, in the biotech space, technology, and the application of technologies. I met some analysts that had covered Ginkgo, Amyris. These are companies that, they've also had CDMOs, they also had products businesses. So there were some good comparables, and so the discussions were very rich, very, very rich. So feel good about it, really good.
You mentioned CDMO contracts. Zaki and Ilan, can you make any comments on like the nature of discussions with the CDMO pipeline?
It's very promising. We've set expectations, and we've said that on many different occasions that we're looking in this year, just given the limitation we have. We're moving to a new space. By the time we'll be able to get everything running, we're adding robotics, by the way. Maybe next time Ilan will be showing you some of the robots that we'll be using in the development process. It's a couple of deals per quarter, which fits what the model we have set our expectations for, and set expectations of shareholders. So and when we have the ability to announce the name, those are good names, strong names. These are companies with significant market cap, with significant prospects, with very potential high volume down the road. So not every case we will be allowed to basically announce or disclose, just because they have their own reasons. In some cases, by the way, it's because they have existing suppliers that they need to move to a new way of supplying their needs. So I'm very optimistic about the prospect. I think for this year, we've allocated about 10 deals. And then, of course, this will grow significantly after we've had the chance to move into the new facility and get it fully operational.
Excellent. Speaking of facilities, Can you give a time frame of when you might expect the first US facility to be operational?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I've spent actually a fair amount of time on that subject in my last trip in the US, and I actually also went to Puerto Rico as well as an additional potential option, just given the significant benefits that Invest Puerto Rico, which is the investment arm of the Puerto Rican government, is providing to companies with our kind of what they classify as pioneer technology from a tax perspective, R&D incentives, all the way through to grants. So we're starting to really, and it's my responsibility to go back to the board with a clear plan and a clear recommendation, basically in the next 90 days, on where we're going to land, which part of the US, stateside, Puerto Rico, etc. And it's good because there's lots of competition, and it's again, it's humbling to see states, governments that want our technology, because people understand very quickly the potential upside for their neighborhoods, for their ecosystems in that area. But the plan really for us, from a, if you call it, the critical necessity is, as Zaki said, the plan this year on the CDMO services business is literally to bring on board 10 plants. That 10 plants will probably come from 6 to maybe 8 companies. There might be companies that do more than one plant. And as we kind of work through our 15 to 24 month development cycle, right? If you take that, say, from now, Justin, we need to have that facility up and running in the middle of 2026. I would say the back half of 2026. So that's kind of like, okay, work backwards, right? I've started to also engage with the right people from a building, construction, architectural perspective, who understand, how to build the way we need to build. Fortunately, with our technology, we don't need a lot, right? I mean, we're not the structure of the building. We just need very strong floors, right? Given the actual shear weight as we bring our bioreactors, but we're kind of starting to now, build the relationships, understand more about the landscape, the players, from understanding the state governments and the benefits, all the way through to potential contractors that can work with us. And
one other element, Ilan, I wanted to add is that, and I don't think we've covered it before, but we're not only talking about a facility that will host just manufacturing. It will also host CDMO R&D work. It will be able to tap into the unbelievable amount of talent in the US. It's not only in Israel that we have those talents, so they also exist in the US, and that would be a great opportunity to tap into. So the decision of where, you have North Carolina has some hubs for biotech, and so we're going to make a good decision that would enable us to have an additional hub for the CDMO services, just going to expand by that time. So middle of 2026, I hope that we would be able to have something that can start production in the US.
It's going to be important, because a number of our customers, you have to be close to your customers, and many of those customers, their core market's the US. And then just to add, that facility will also need to produce molecules for our own products business, because when you look at the growth that we're looking coming out of our business, it'll be a combination of our products business plus, and that's why you're looking at 150, 160 ton facility, which will also be able to house production for our partners, CDMO services partners, plus our own core business.
If I have to predict, just in the next 5 years, there'll be more than one large facility in the US, not because we're going to be building all those facilities ourselves, but our customers, some of the big customers, will probably move in that time frame to want to be able to license our technology and actually put the capex themselves to build the facility, because they may have enough, either one molecule that requires 50 tons a year or 100 tons a year, or multiple molecules. The beauty of our process, it's uniform. It's the same process. I can run one product on one single bioreactor. So they can have 20 products in the same floor, or they can have one product consuming the entire floor. So my prediction is, as far as the US is that we will be building the first facility. That would be the right thing to do. But then post that, there will be some customers that would want to have their own facility, and that will work with them on, the terms of the licensing and how we help them, etc., to do that.
Perfect. I've got a few more production questions that this meshes perfectly with now. Ilan, can you explain to somebody? There's some questions about potential like manufacturing bottlenecks. We got so many products coming online. Just explain the Vinia inside and how what we contribute to any product, any Vinia product, let's say.
Yeah, what's great about the whole Vinia Inside strategy, as we look at, going into whether it's coffee, tea, the hydration space, is that we're able to scale our molecule development, and then literally we're shipping bulk powder. So in the case of how we work with Joe's Garage Coffee and the team there, is that, we've been able to partner with them where we've utilized a combination of our R&D and their R&D together to do the product development. And it's their assets, it's their assets that they're, leveraging. And we're shipping in the bulk and bulk powder. And then basically it's being combined with the coffee beans and into the K-cups, and off you go. Same thing on the tea side, same thing on the hydration side. So it's actually, we're able to get significant scale and efficiency because we're just producing the molecule, i.e. the red grape cells. And then basically it goes off and basically our red grape cell just becomes an additional ingredient into their overall process. So it's highly efficient, and we leverage their R&D capabilities and our R&D capabilities together to deliver superior taste, superior science, and Justin, superior
efficacy.
Yes. Woo! That could have been a career limiting move.
I know I've got three next questions. Thank you. So the next question from Walter is, when we're looking at production between the existing facility, the new Israeli consolidated campus, that US facility that potentially could come online in mid-2026, we've doubled sales and production, let's say, each of the last several years. How confident are you that like a 4x or 5x is realistic with this, the facility plan that you have?
I would say to you, Walter, firstly, hi. Thank you for your question. Always appreciate it, and thank you for all your support. I would say, humbly, I'm optimistic. The size of the market is just so huge for our products, right? When you think about it, even red grape cells, we can build just with our red grape cell with the strategy that we have on multiple delivery methods. Think about it. Hydration, $16 billion, right? What science do some of the market leaders there have? There's no science. Really, there's no science. And we're coming in and disrupting. We just need one home run in one of these areas. And literally it's like, boom. And then you have this with olive cells. You have our pomegranate cells, right? And, as Zaki said, in some of the deal flow we're seeing in the services side of the business, right, we're going to take positions in, right? We want a hedge. We want it. We want it because we're seeing significant opportunities. So, I would say very optimistic, but we need to really just continue to stay focused on building this business step by step, right? The 4x, we're building a path to get there, right? And definitely, if you think about like $100 million in revenue in the products business, yeah, like I think we can get there. But, let me first get to the next milestone, right? Let me first get to doubling the business this year, right? And let me get to then the next milestone, just step by step. But we've got to lay the planning as it relates to infrastructure, as it relates to all the work that Ilana, our COO, is doing to bring down the costs, to develop the next generation bioreactors. And I will show it at the next meeting. because we had a lot of show and tell already tonight. We have a new harvesting technology. It's a game changer, right? We kind of taken our harvesting, from the, basically the late 1990s to like, right now to like the 21st century. It's amazing. A new machine that will make our harvesting so much more efficient and quicker. So we're continuing to basically put in place the infrastructure, the building blocks, the stilts to build a strong house, right? The foundations to build a strong house. And it goes also to what Jared's doing. The work that my conversation with Jared now on the product side with the e-commerce business is putting in place literally the foundations, the tech foundations to be able to have a business that can do literally tens of thousands of transactions every single month, right? As we start to scale the business. So that's what we're really focused on doing. And if we do that right, and then we do our consumer research right, we get the clinical trials done in the right way, and we get success, that kind of 4x, you can get there. But we got to just stay focused on building it methodically, purposefully, and building it the right way. And we've done that the last 4 years, right? We've been, I think, pretty disciplined. We've done it. And we need to continue to do it this way.
Yeah, we've been 90 minutes. Can I ask 2 more questions?
Sure.
Three actually, to defer to people who are being very supportive.
You got superior science, superior taste and efficacy, right?
Taste and efficacy. The first, just a quick comment on the recent early conversion of convertible debt. There's a lot of questions about just a comment on what percentage complete and how we sit there.
Zaki,
we're close to 90%. I think it may not have got enough attention of shareholders, but this is a major vote of trust in the company and its management and its prospects. There's a significant amount of money that was sitting on the liability side of our balance sheet and moved to the equity side of our balance sheet, which strengthens our balance sheet, which is also part of meeting the criteria by Nasdaq. This has been a major achievement by management. And as I said earlier, and I can't say enough, it's a major vote of trust because the price of conversion in some cases has been even ahead or above the market price. People normally, when they convert the debt, they normally convert it at prices that are a discount of the market price. That's the norm for convertible loans for those who've experienced that. And it's not something I've invented. And people have converted at prices either a little above in some cases or right about market. So we can be asking for better vote of confidence in a company. Those are investors that are long on a company. They understand the core competencies and they understand the potential of both the services part of the company as well as the part on the products. And I must say that the timing of announcing the services, the CDMO, and I know it's self-serving because I currently run that division, but the timing has been also critical for those investors to be convinced that that's the right thing for them to do. And also, they're also very interested to see that the company achieves its goal of being on the Nasdaq. It's not something to take lightly, we don't want to be on the Nasdaq prematurely, but it's an achievement when we get it done. And again, when we get it done, it should be considered an achievement because it's a milestone. It's the maturity that you've reached to be able to face a bigger market, and that ability to face the bigger market would also be the engine for us to keep growing the pace where investors are looking at us to grow, and we don't want to miss those opportunities. I don't want to be talking to really the giants, and honestly, we're talking to giants in all industries, pharma, nutrition, cosmetics. I don't want to go back to them and say I don't have in 2026 the capacity. And remember, for me to be in 2026, with a capacity. I need every shareholder to remember that. For me to be able to satisfy one of those giants, a multi-billion-dollar company, to be able to manufacture in 2026, I need to start spending money in 2025. I need to be on the Nasdaq. I need to have this access to those markets. I need to bring the partnerships, because once I'm in the Nasdaq, there's a bit of the Nasdaq effect of more credibility to your story, because it's more scrutinized, because there are more analysts covering you. It's not just us talking about ourselves. There will be people talking of us. So those partners want to do manufacturing partners. I don't want to spend all the money all the time on manufacturing. I don't want to do everything as an equity deal, but there will be some equity deals and other deals, but those will come because of the exposure and the credibility, really the credibility that being on the Nasdaq brings to us. So I know that for some shareholders, the consolidation of the shares can sometimes be misinterpreted, because sometimes it comes with the certain psychology, but we need to look above that psychology element to start with, and really understand what this is doing for the company, both in the short run and in the long run. It's a necessity, and it's also an achievement once the company have done it. Okay, and we are super committed to get it done this year. I don't know. I don't have a better word than super committed. Maybe super committed to get it done.
Justin, go ahead. You got two more questions.
We're going to answer two more questions. I'll combine them just at once. So investor asking, one of the risks of investing in smaller companies is key man risks. You're building this. How do you feel your management team is situated to become like a large company on the Nasdaq? And comments on the depth of the management bench. And then lastly, just to respect the people expressing their best wishes for our colleagues' safety and the safety of the company. Maybe just a comment on the crisis.
Okay, so I'll take the first one as it relates to, the talent that we've built in this company. And I think, it starts with Zaki and Dr. Yochi, the founders of the company from 17 years ago. They're still here. They're still actively driving this company. Dr. Yochi, she's a machine, right? And the good news is that, as I spoke about earlier, it's not just Dr. Yochi and Dr. Zaki, who's also a double PhD. He doesn't like me talking about it. But, you have amazing technical experts with deep experience. And, I'm really proud to say, Justin, I'm going to be 51 soon. Okay. And if you look at the average age of our leadership team, it's probably around about the 56, 57 mark. And it's people that have another 15 years at least of runway. The world's different today. And they come with so much deep experience. So I'm surrounded by technical experts. Dr. Malkit Zaki on the R&D side, probably one of the best plant cell biologists in the world, right? You have Michal on the regulatory side, who's seen every movie on the regulation side. You've got Dr. Brian, right? Hopkins trained, understands the industry, understands, so many facets. He's so helpful on the commercial side, on the clinical side. Dr. Ilan, also a PhD biologist, has got the biological background, and obviously a significant experience in manufacturing. Jared, who's running the products business, just deep tech and e-commerce and marketing all coming together. It's such a unique skill set. So we've really built and nurtured also great talent with Bar Marais. Many of the investor partners are dealing with Bar on a daily basis. We've a lot of the talent either have come with massive experience or have been with us for a long time, and we've nurtured that talent. And in the last 4 years, I've pretty much handpicked everybody on this team. Initially it was a core team, myself, Zaki, Dr. Yochi, Bar, and then we've kind of, Michal, and we've expanded the team. And we have a really strong team. We just brought in a fantastic resource with Nissim that joined us actually this week to basically run a broader end-to-end quality unit covering QA and QC. He has 35 years of experience in the pharma industry, right? Deep experience. Now, what's great as well is that these people, they all sit at the table, and you see this, you sit in our meetings, in our leadership meetings, they all sit at the table as well experienced practical business-minded people with strong functional expertise, deep functional expertise with professional experience, right? And the combination brings a very, very powerful team. This company is not a one-person company. It's not run by one person, right? Yet, yes, I'm pushy, I'm driving, and all the stuff that you have to deal with me every single day and everybody else. But it's a team. It's one team, one dream that's driving this, movement of change, leveraging the power of our botanical synthesis technology process. And I think also people like, God forbid something happens, right? People have good breadth. People can cover for other people. We have good breadth across the business. They're not just, functionalized, marginalized experts. They're people with broad experience, and they can push. And we've done that. Often people have to push into other areas, and they've got that experience. So I'm really proud of the team, and we continue to add to the team. We'll continue to bring on board more expertise. Also, as we get closer to Nasdaq with some other functional experts that we're missing on the leadership team. So the job's not done yet. There's still a couple of major hires that we need to do in the next 6 to 12 months. But yeah, I feel really good about it. And then the second question just triggered my memory.
Just an update on how the company is dealing with the geopolitical crisis.
Look, we are strength in unity, right? And people are amazingly supportive. We touched on this the last time. It's the chapters continue to get challenging. But what can I say? We have responsibilities. We have responsibilities to 50,000 customers. Now we have responsibility to some big partners on the CDMO services side of the business. We have accountabilities as people. We have payroll to meet every single month, and people are very resilient. And I think the resiliency here comes because there's enormous support. People are very, very supportive. People are very, very sensitive. We get a lot of strength from our customers, from our shareholder partners from overseas. I can't tell you, and you people know, I don't want to mention names, but the amount of WhatsApps that I'm getting all the time. Ilan, how things going? Everything okay? Our prayers are with you. Our thoughts are with you. It's amazing. It's super inspiring, and it helps because when it's tough and there's a lot of things going around us, it helps us gives us strength and stay focused. But we're going through some tough times, but it's been tough for the last 7 months. May get tougher, but we're resilient. We're unified as a company, as a team around us. Everyone's supporting each other from the manufacturing side of the business all the way through to R&D side and all the other functions. And please God, we'll start to see some brightness in the future in the near term. But ultimately, the business has to run. And in a way, it's a really good distraction. Sometimes I find myself, we work long hours, and I kind of get home and take a shower, and that's the first time I look at my phone and I look at the news, right? Because you're just so focused. And so in some respects, I know it kind of sounds crazy, just on a personal level, work's a bit of a distraction, but it's a good distraction because we're also passionate about what we do, and nothing's going to stop us. Nothing's going to stop us from building this movement of change, no matter how difficult the conditions around us get. But thank you. On this note, I'll also just once again thank all of our shareholder partners just for your, very, very sincere support. And I think also just, appreciation of what we're going through. As we say in Hebrew, it's not muvan ma'alav. It's not obvious. right? But you know, we really appreciate it, and it means a lot.
Justin, we have a mission, and what we do is good for every human being on this planet. We don't discriminate against those who support us, those who like us, those who don't like us. We have a bigger mission, and we're all a bunch of very dedicated people. I think the experience helps. We're also bringing some young talents, and some I didn't promote that enough because I don't want people to think, oh, I'm jumping on this fray. But AI is important, and the world is going to be divided between those who AI helps them and those who AI destroys them. We certainly are on the part that AI help us. Digital biology is here. It's coming strongly, and we already have a team of super talented two professors in that area, and this is an area where I personally am quite involved. So I see the progress we're making, and I see what impact it would do. But like Ilan said, my last note today would be, we're resilient, and we have a sense of purpose. We have a sense of purpose.
We like to say that when it comes to health, there's no borders. Everybody has red blood. Everybody needs better blood flow. There's no borders.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. The recording should be shared by tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Thank you, Zaki. Thank you, Ilan.
Thank you, Justin. Good night, everybody. Thank you for your time.